with $3.06. Yeah, you may laugh, 'cause you did not do your math. So she said, I was born underwater, like in her mother's stomach, right? With $3.06. 360. What else is that? What's 360? A circle, right? So in hip hop, we have the circle, which is called the cipher. Cipher is also the Arabic word for zero. That's where we make music, where we create a lot of our creativity. But she's saying she's not broke with $3.06. No, she's whole. And we use this terminology of fractionalizing and fragmenting even for class. When we're talking about, oh, he's broke, that's fragmenting people, right, to dehumanize. Whereas she's saying, no, I'm reclaiming that and I'm whole. These are powerful lessons that I pull from the lyricism, from the content of hip hop. I think being multiracial also allows us to build off of common experiences, whether that's relating to African American communities, my friends and my family in Seattle or the Bay Area, or even my Japanese heritage. And I remember even before I came, I was doing an interview for a radio show. And even before I met this DJ at a club where I was performing alongside all these different other artists for a fundraiser for the community, he walks up to me, he's like, oh, are you Japanese? And once again I say, well, you should get to know me and we'll have a conversation about that. He's like, well, I want you on your show, on my show, but are you Japanese? Are you a nuclear power plant? I see your name, Fukushima. I'm sitting here like, this guy must be kidding me. And I said, well, we can have this conversation, but calling me a nuclear power plant is, you need to reassess your language, dude, right? And he said, but I see you're Japanese. And he starts drawing circles around my eyes. Right, that objectification. I see it there and there, right? Like, let me just pick apart pieces of my body to figure out what I am. And then the next day, we were on the radio, and he was interviewing me. And he said, Fukushima, that's an interesting stage name. You must have gotten it in the last year, huh? And then I started to talk to him about the activism going on here. The fact that I'm coming here talking about Mixed Roots Conference. And delving into that conversation, he said, oh, Fukushima, did you blow up? He said on the radio. And it's so problematic, right? Not only the stereotypes with this way of thinking, but I think that there are spaces for this discourse. Sometimes the arts can promote certain stereotypes, or we can kind of break down some of these stereotypes, like that conversation I had with this fantastic DJ on the radio, right? But regardless, kind of this plethora of experiences, whether I'm being seen through the lens of the one-drop rule, similar to my companion Obama, or I'm seen through a lens of, oh, you're Japanese, or you're playing at Japanese, all these different perceptions, allows me to relate to different people and different struggles, right? It's a basis for solidarity, for even collective action, which brings me to hip-hop. Are you still with me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Cool. So, which brings me to hip-hop. And a large part of my interest in hip-hop comes in hip-hop as a platform. And realize hip-hop is an art form. Yes, it has different elements. 4 key elements. Some say 5, some say more. Right? But it's also a culture. We often say hip-hop culture. Right? So I believe that hip-hop is a basis, a cultural basis for our collective global citizenship. In hip-hop, it's a way of communicating across languages, across different borders, and it's a universal. If hip-hop was a person, it would be multiracial, right? This person would be multiracial. Because it has many different components of many different cultures. It goes in many directions at once. And this is okay. It's just part of global hip-hop and who hip-hop is. We are hip-hop, right? Whether you are familiar with hip-hop, you have no idea about it, if you even have the slightest interest, it welcomes you into joining this global culture. And especially one based on activism, a culture that understands that culture often precedes social and political change. This is is the basis of Raptivism. This is the basis of some of the most powerful aspects of hip-hop today, whether we're talking about from the Bronx in the 1970s at its birth, or we're talking about the Arab Spring now, and even what's going on here in Japan. That culture is often the dress rehearsal for social and political change, as my colleague Jeff Chang says. Also, one of my favorite MCs, The Narcissist, says, hip-hop stands for highly intellectual people hovering over politics. The hyphen is the bridge that we walk over. Hip is an intellectual movement as well. It comes from the West African Wolof word, and as well as that griot storytelling, meaning to open one's eyes, to see. And with many of the leaders of hip-hop globally being multiracial, I think that this is also a space for the discourse to change, where jokes like the DJ made on the radio, or even that woman at the bus stop, can all of a sudden listen because they're jamming to a beat, but eventually it'll have that eat ja ja effect, as my friend in South Africa calls it, where you're jamming, you're enjoying it, but maybe eventually it'll sink in, right? It kind of hits you one day, oh yeah. Or all of a sudden that culture allows people to integrate, much like musical forms have in the past in the United States, and bringing people together and desegregating different spaces and altering perceptions. Just like musical genres mix and continue to blend, so do people. Right? This is setting the stage for what we will see. With that, I'll conclude with a few comments. Hip-hop offers this basis for our global citizenship, and we carry one passport, which is a passport to imagination. Our currency is creativity. And we don't just write verses, we write universes that challenge the status quo. We combat oppression with expression, ignorance with intelligence, and apathy with awareness. And also, hip-hop is about that participation. When I say hip, you say hop. Hip.
Hop.
Hip.
Hop.
When I say can't stop, y'all say won't stop. Can't stop.
Won't stop.
Can't stop.
Won't stop.
When I say mixed, y'all say roots. Mixed.
Roots.
Mixed.
Roots.
When I say speak, y'all say truth. Speak.
Truth.
Speak.
Truth.
It don't make any difference to me what the world thinks about us, baby. 'Cause in my heart, I will always believe that we were meant for each other. Love ain't got no color. It don't make any difference to me what they see. Stereotypes. Assign me a category and I'll give you a category. Let justice roll forth like a mighty stream. A true individual is one that dares to dream. What are you looking for in the mirror when the deepest part of you lies within a beauty that does not stop at the skin? What race are you a part of? Because I'm racing with my dreams. Every day I wake up to an inner passion that screams. Curiosity beads up and rolls down my face, the spiritual perspiration, inhaling inspiration, exhaling innovation. Aspirations in my life's blood driving my circulation. Unruly is the house that tries to heart an evolving soul, fueling an inner passion, an inner fire with an ever-burning coal. Stop looking for who you are in other places. You will never come to recognize your own potential in other faces. Only you can choose the path that falls below your feet. Oppressive expectations, limitations are shackles of self-defeat. No ancestor fought for our freedom only to see us retreat. The confines of passivity are likened to the cage of a bird, imprisons a song never to be heard, but one vision can change the world, planting the seeds to a grassroots movement waiting to go unfurled. I said, free your mind, and the rest will follow. Don't have to be colorblind, just don't be so shallow. I said, free your mind, and the rest will follow. Whoa. Don't have to be colorblind, just don't be so shallow. Arigatou gozaimasu. Arigatou.